Welcome back, everyone, to the Mom with Moms podcast. We are welcoming Deanna DeAndino on the podcast this morning. A fellow Monmouth County mom.
Yes.
We have connected over the years. You attended some of our events, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Vendor events.
Yeah. And then recently.
And Summit. The first Summit.
Okay. Oh, okay. And I saw you at a networking event on International Women's Day, and I'm so impressed by everything that you're doing and just so fascinated. I think my favorite thing on earth really is to read and learn about other women who are creating products, starting organizations, just finding a niche or something that they're passionate about and running with it and creating something that can help people, right? And making a business out of it, because that's really cool.
Yeah, thank
you. So tell me, we're just actually chatting a little bit but tell me where you're from originally.
Yeah, so I grew up in Middletown and then was kind of hopping all over Monmouth County. Mm-hmm. So Homedale to Spring Lake to Asbury Park, and then now that when me and my husband got married, we settled in Wall. Mm-hmm. I love Monmouth County. I don't think I could ever be far away from the beach.
I know. It's so nice here. I think about that a lot because in past years, I'd say the past 4 years, we haven't traveled much. And it's just, I think, just the nature of our lives. My husband, my stepdaughter does softball professionally. So they travel a lot for tournaments, right? Which is great, but also expensive. So they would go to Colorado for 7 days and you're like, okay, well, we're not going anywhere this summer.
Yeah.
But, which is great. She loves it. So we haven't been out much. We haven't done a lot of trips like we used to. And I kind of always say, in the summer, why do you really need to?
You don't.
You don't, because you even...
I don't want to go away in the summer.
Yeah, because why would you? It's we go to Seeger and it's the best
That's my
kept
beach.
secret. Oh, is it? I love it. It's a little vacay in a day.
I know. Let's not tell everyone.
I know. I say that a lot in the podcast. I've been gatekeeping Seeger, but yeah, we go to Parker House. It's so nice,
It's the best with the kids too. I have 2 little boys, and just it's quiet, but family friendly.
But it's awful, so don't go.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, I know. We used to go to Belmar. When my son was alive, we went to Belmar more. And then I think when I married my husband, he was like, "Why are you going here still? It's very young, and it's crowded. It's a lot."
Yeah.
Where Seeger, it's much more it's very peaceful.
If you go to Seagirt, you'll sit in traffic for hours trying to get there.
Yeah.
Won't be able to park.
The parking is tough. If you don't get there before 9, it's
well,
tough.
I'm up so early. I mean,
yeah, right.
I'm out of there by 11 with my kids, so it's perfect.
We used to do that too. Well, I'm still up early, but yeah, when Grace was little, I would actually bring the running stroller and I would go for a run in the morning and stuff, and then just go. It is so nice. So yes, it's just beautiful living here. You went to Mater Dei.
I went to Mater Dei, met my husband there.
Okay.
Yep.
When did they close? 5 years ago?
I feel a few years ago. To be honest, I'm not the alumni that's
You weren't like Brian Williams, fighting for it to be open?
No, I was it was in the back. I would hear things about it. I'm not on Facebook, really. So I just wasn't really in tune with much of it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's funny because I met my husband there, so you'd think I'd be more invested, but I'm all right.
You're right. You're not writing checks as an alumni.
Yeah.
No, wasn't it Brian Williams who was fighting for it to stay? Or he did.
He was an alum. Yeah, he's an alumni. I truly, being a mom and being a business owner, I'm in such a bubble of my own. I don't have the capacity to
Yep.
If it's not in my immediate bubble, I can't focus on it, or I'm just I can't.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we went to the outlets with my mom. The Woodbury Common outlets. The nice ones. We went on Saturday because my mom's been asking to go for a while, so we just went. And she's talking about all the stuff happening in the news, and she's like, and this person. I'm like, no. And then she's like, the story, and no. She's like, what do you do? I'm like, I work all day. I have no idea what's going on.
It's also generational.
Yeah.
Because my mom does the same. My mom knows I don't watch the news.
Okay.
I mean, I get news in other ways, but she like needs to be the reporter for me. Like she needs to tell me everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I intentionally don't watch it, Mom. Like
Also
I'm
that.
good.
Also that. Yeah, I know. I think there's like the Skim where you can like, which is actually women
Right.
founded and run. I think they just sold it, but you're supposed to get like tidbits of information. I should probably at least follow that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if it's outside of like Monmouth County mom news, I don't know about it. You know?
I mean, the mental load, you just can't. It's not possible.
It's not. So, so where did you go to school after Mater Dei?
So I went to Marist College
Okay.
following Mater Dei. I studied, believe it or not, public relations and fashion merchandising. My
Oh.
entire life I was going to be in fashion.
Okay.
I was so committed to that. I studied abroad in London. I had like amazing PR fashion internships there.
Wow.
Also in New York City, great internships. Right after college, I actually started working for the Camuto Group, Vince Camuto.
Oh yeah.
And
I like their shoes.
yeah, great shoes. I wound up being the creative assistant for Jessica Simpson's fashion brand.
Okay.
And I did that for a couple of years, and it just like wasn't fulfilling me in a way that, like, I love the creative aspect of it, and I think that's why I was so drawn to fashion. But it was also, as you could imagine, a very toxic environment.
Yeah.
And I was working weekends, I was working nights, I was getting emails at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I expected to answer them. And through my internships, as much as it was this common thread of like, I don't know how sustainable this is going to be because I did want a family.
Yeah.
And as much as I love New York City, I was also just reeling for the beach. Like, I'm a Pisces. I need to be close to water. It like
Yeah.
makes me feel grounded.
Yeah.
So I started to reevaluate my life a little bit. And I never thought I'd be a teacher, but my husband was like hardcore about staying in Monmouth County. And I was like, well, maybe that's a career. Like I was craving something like I needed more fulfillment and I wanted to feel like I was making an impact.
Yeah.
And I just knew, but like myself, I had to have some sort of creative outlet. And I was like, well, maybe I'll try teaching. I started subbing. I loved the kids so much. And then I went and got my master's at Monmouth
Oh wow.
in special education.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. So a
Yeah.
big turn into.
Huge.
Yeah.
I've always been like that.
Okay.
And my story kind of, you'll see the trajectory. When I make a decision, I just go for it.
Okay. Like there's no like thinking on it.
And there's never any looking back. I
Okay.
don't ever regret anything.
So is it like you have an idea and then you just run with it and like, or do you like think it through a little bit?
I think internally I think it through.
Yeah.
But to the outside world and people in my life, it probably looks like I just made the decision.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah.
I don't talk a lot
Okay.
about what I'm thinking until I'm like, it's done.
All right. That's cool. I can't say I'm like that, but I think like I have a few people in my like inner circle who are always giving me ideas or you should do this and I'll like think on it for 6 months.
Yeah.
But if I get an idea that's like really good for like sometimes I'll just be sitting there and I'm like and like something will come to me and I'm like yep, and I do it that second and like I
Yeah.
run with it and then I kind of just like and sometimes they're not always good ideas but it's like sometimes it's like an event idea or whatever.
Right.
And then like I'll just like work like crazy until like it's kind of it's out there or whatever. And I think those are kind of like the best ways because the things that I'm always thinking on is like sometimes it's like a bigger idea where it's like I'm trying to pivot or trying to whatever, but at the
Right.
same time you're like those are like those are the things that like they're probably just like not serving you or not best for you or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and if it's not like a yes in the moment, I
Right.
feel like internally.
Totally.
And if you get like a download, like you're saying, like it's just like this thought and it excites you, I feel like that's like intuition telling you this is the idea to run with.
That and like yeah, like if you feel in your gut like wholeheartedly like that this is something that like is right like that is like what where you should be bringing this like kind of idea or
Right.
whatever it is. So but that's so interesting that you say that. So how long were you a teacher?
8 to 10 years,
Oh, okay.
including like my field work and subbing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And elementary?
elementary. I always taught third grade special education.
Okay.
It was awesome. It was such a great experience. It all just comes full circle when I think about what I do now. Like even the fashion and the teaching, like it all just makes sense now. For a while I was like, is this ever going to make sense? But it does come around full circle. And I taught through the pandemic, and that's kind of like when everything shifted for me. I think as it did for pretty much everyone, but also a lot of educators. The whole system kind of changed, and the way things looked, and I think I became a mom at the same time, so a lot happened to me in a short amount of time. I was teaching through the pandemic and had both of my babies in the pandemic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then wound up experiencing pretty severe postpartum depression after my second son.
Wow.
So it was just this whirlwind of trying to process what is my life, what am I doing, why am I here, what's my purpose.
Yep.
And everything changed at that moment. Yeah.
We were talking about that recently, like the the aftermath of kids like being taught during the pandemic and stuff like that, and like where the chips all kind of fell with like just their their abilities and things that they're like gaps right in their education and stuff.
Huge
and,
learning losses.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Just having to push kids through grade levels. When they didn't have that foundation, because there was such a learning loss with the pandemic and the virtual online learning, and that didn't feel good for me as an educator. Like I felt like it wasn't what we should be doing.
Yeah.
And then I think becoming a mom, like obviously, then you're just thinking of your own kids. Like if this was my kid, would this feel right? And it didn't.
Yeah.
So I think then I felt like I probably need to move on. Like I'm probably not going to be doing this forever. And then, of course, when I went through postpartum depression, I just hit rock bottom personally, and I needed to pull myself out of it. And that was really just the catalyst for the Mindset Tapestry and how it all came to be.
Okay. So was this the idea on the heels of that, or it was?
Totally.
Okay,
So going back to what we were talking about, when you have this idea and you kind of like sit on it, but you can't get rid of it, like it's just nudging you and it's in your gut almost. That's exactly what the Mindset Tapestry was. So I had this idea probably 4 months into my second pregnancy, and then I got COVID at 7 months pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
And I was just starting to experience really what they define as postpartum depression during my pregnancy, and a lot of people don't know that, but it will start in your pregnancy.
Okay.
Even though it's called postpartum depression. I didn't know that at the time. I was just experiencing really negative thoughts, feeling extremely low. I think I was scared too. Like this was my second pregnancy and COVID. I'm like, I'm done here. Like I'm emotionally exhausted.
What's the age gap?
They're 2 years, 4 months apart.
It's a lot.
So it was just like a lot, and I started to get into like my own holistic wellness journey, or trying to. My son was diagnosed with a heart arrhythmia in utero, and then that made me even go, like I was battling the emotions of that. I had to go on a medical leave from work. I just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I gonna do? Like I have to figure this out. Like it just felt like there was like this inner soul searching I had to do, and I started doing positive affirmations and mirror talk, and I started to like realize the power in it. Like it felt, when I first heard about it, like it was like something really woo-woo or something that wouldn't really work, but when I started to do it, I started to see the power in it, and I still didn't fully understand it yet, but it did make me think of the kids I used to teach, and I started to think like, why aren't we implementing these types of practices in schools?
Right.
Let alone our homes. And when I got COVID and had to isolate for about 2 weeks, I ordered a bunch of stuff on Amazon, and I created the first prototype. And I was like, maybe this is something that could work for kids. Like maybe it would be this incredible tool, and I put a mirror in the middle, and I was like making it multi-sensory, because as a special education teacher, I know that kids need engagement through multi-sensory avenues, whether it be touch, visual, smell, like verbal, like they need all of that to really learn and be engaged. So I started to craft this prototype, and I hung it on my mirror after I was let out of my bedroom and out of quarantine. I hung it up, and it stared at me for like months and months and months. And every day I got out of bed, I couldn't not look at it, but I kept telling myself, like, you can't do this. Like, you don't have money to start a business. You can't quit your tenure track job. Like,
did you also say to yourself, like, I don't know how to start a business?
Yeah, like I wouldn't even know where to start. I'm gonna have to manufacture something. That's absolutely insane. Like,
I love where this story goes, because now, like, I know what you're doing, and it's just so cool. But keep going.
Yeah, so I had like and plus I was about to have a baby, so I was like, and I wasn't really doing so well mentally. So I was like, forget it, like, not happening. Like, great fever dream, but not happening.
Okay.
And then a few months later, I had my son in May. And then about 2 months after that, I started to realize that the state of my emotional health actually was becoming worse.
Okay.
And I didn't know what postpartum depression was in terms of feeling it. Like, of course I knew what it was, but I don't think if you've ever had it, you would like truly understand. Like, I didn't understand when I had my first son what that could feel like.
Yeah.
I just knew women got it sometimes after they had children. I didn't know that feeling, so it was a little confusing at first. It took me a beat to realize what was going on. And I think the first time I realized what was going on is the day that I told my husband, I'm just driving myself to the hospital. I don't know, like, what to do. Like, I don't feel good. I don't trust myself. I don't understand what's going on. And we had a 3-month-old and a 2-year-old at the time, and he said, go. And it was a Saturday. It was like a bright, beautiful summer day, and I just couldn't. I was in a black hole. Like, I couldn't see the light.
Right.
It was really wild. It was a wild experience.
Wow. That's awful.
Yeah.
So scary.
Yeah.
Huh. So what did they do?
Nothing. It was really a poor, it was a really bad situation. Just like anyone else, I went into the ER. I told them, I think I have postpartum depression. I really feel terrible. I feel sick. I told them everything I was experiencing, and they put me with everyone else, just like I was in the ER. Then they had me sitting in a folding chair because they were really crowded that day. It was like a really busy day.
Yeah.
In between a curtain, and on the other side of the curtain, I was listening to a young woman tell her parents about how she would try to kill herself. And I had to leave. I was like, is this for real? Like, if I didn't feel terrible coming in here, I now feel exponentially worse.
Wow.
And I felt like I had no resources, and I felt scared. And it wasn't until I found the PMAD Center in Eatontown that things started to look up, and I started to realize that, like, oh, I can get through this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. There's a urgent care that's now open with Hackensack Meridian
Amazing.
Health, for behavioral health specifically. So
where is that?
It's in, oh my gosh, it's Hackensack. I believe it's in Neptune. I think it's 99% sure it's in Neptune. The director is actually on the podcast a couple months ago.
Incredible.
Because of situations just like that. And it's open to children, adults, for something, and they know exactly like how to manage those situations and stuff. It's like one of the first of its kind, I believe, in New Jersey. So it's very cool.
I've never heard of anything like that. I mean, there just needs to be more.
It's newer, very newer. Yeah.
Places and resources like that, because that's how things happen, right? Like, when you're feeling that low and that depressed, you're not yourself.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times the people closest to you can't really recognize it, and even if they can recognize it, they don't know how to help you.
Yeah, and it's scary. And there's still, I wouldn't say there's still like the taboo. There's mental health awareness is much more. People are much more open-minded, right, about like discussing it and stuff, and like having a therapist is much more mainstream, right?
Accepted,
like it's accepted.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's still like kind of, it's like it's scary, and also kind of, you can have like a bad week or whatever and like you not be able to pull yourself out of that funk, and then people are just like, oh, just go for a walk or what, like it's not, it's bigger than that,
It's much bigger than that.
Yeah. So you went to the center in Eatontown.
Yes, and I started to get therapy, and they were incredible. However, not anything against them, but I think I still was observing that the resources weren't like matching what I was looking for. Okay. So one of the things that many people were kind of offering to me was like, here's some medication. And innately I just felt, and I'm so not anti-medication at all, but innately I just felt like it wasn't the right option, and there was like this deeper thing I needed to work out.
Okay.
So taking what I learned about during my pregnancy, I started to get really into the positive affirmations and mirror talk. And I started to kind of look into other ancient holistic practices that are healing and transformative. And I became extremely disciplined about them. So moving my body, I started doing visual meditations, which to this day are like such a huge part of my life, and I think I can attribute them to like even being able to start my business and have the courage to do that. The positive affirmations and mirror talk, and just started to get into this really holistic mindset and like reset, which was amazing as a mom, right? Because we do that anyway as moms. Like we want to kind of reset for our kids and like evaluate what we've done in the past and see what's going to be working for us now. And it was just the best thing I've ever done. Like it truly allowed me to take my pain and really make it my purpose, and it completely rewired my brain. Like especially the affirmations, like I would be driving in the car and it'd be a red light, I'd pull down the mirror and I would start talking to myself in the mirror.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so there's research behind looking in the mirror and saying positive words about yourself, positive self-talk, that actually rewires the neural pathways in your brain.
Wow. So
over time, that will happen.
Okay.
You have to like deprogram and really just get rid of all the conditioning that you've had for the past however many years it's been. So it's really an enlightening process. But through that, and when I started to realize that it was working, it made me reflect on my teaching experience and like what I'm doing with my kids as a mom now. And I was like, why aren't we doing this for our kids?
To build like that foundation.
Why are we waiting for traumatic experiences to happen in their lives to then present them with either medication or whatever it may be? We're not building a foundation. And we're truly not. Like I've been in schools, like we're just not, it's no one's fault. We're not programmed to do that. We haven't known until now that these practices are so powerful and transformative, but the thing is they are ancient practices. They're not new.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like it's not news that anyone, most people don't benefit. Like everyone wants to hear positive feedback about themselves, right? Like you want to always, like, you get more bees with honey. Like it's not a secret that people like to hear positive things about themselves. But the fact that like, you're right. Like when we were growing up, it was very like, I didn't go to Catholic school. I went to Catholic school for 2 years, but like outside of that, I went to public school. My daughter goes to Catholic school, and it's like still that like kind of disciplinary mentality, and
very
like our teachers,
authoritarian.
Yeah, like my teachers all were. Most of them were like older. Like when I was in elementary school, a lot of them were like
fear-based.
Oh, totally. And yeah, you didn't get like your favorite teachers were who? the ones that were nice to you, that were fun.
The nurturing ones.
That were, right, exactly. The ones you think back and you're like, it's never like that awful third grade teacher.
The ones that made you feel comfortable and loved and seen.
Yes. Have the biggest, it's not a secret. And it's kind of funny that you're just like, hello, like this is like a light bulb moment, but also like so obvious,
Well, the thing is too, is like, exactly that. We grow up, our environments dictate how we view ourselves. So the teacher that treated us a certain way, our peers that treated us a certain way or said certain things to us, our parents, like even if it's they're not realizing it, you start to build or construct this viewpoint of yourself based on the external and the feedback you've been given your whole life.
Right.
And then you start to put yourself in a box.
Yeah.
And you start to define yourself that way. So then when you go out into the world and you're trying to get a career or understand yourself and try to build something for yourself, you really like, everything is defined about like through that lens.
Yeah.
And it's like, what if we can allow kids to create their own lens and define it for themselves and not look so much for validation externally, which I think we do naturally as humans. But if we can start this inner work early and build this strong inner voice and confidence and self-belief, the external's not going to matter so much because you're going to have this really strong innate knowing of yourself, and it's not going to matter. Then you're not going to question yourself when your peer says, "Oh, you're not good at math." You're going to be like, "I can do it. Like I'm good at math." Like it's not going to matter so much. So that's really my mission with the Mindset Tapestry, is starting these mental health practices early and with a holistic view. That's like, because I believe I'm a practitioner myself. I know how powerful they are. And I think parents don't know much about them yet, but it's really so easy and simple to be able to give your kids this.
I don't know if we talked about this when I ran into you in Homedale, but I'm always trying to read at least like one book a month, and I've been on to Gabrielle Bernstein's book.
Love her.
Did we talk about? I think we did.
We might have, because I do love her.
Yeah. So I didn't know about her until like probably like this past like December, and I bought like all of her books. So I've only gone through one. I have like 3 more on my bedstand, but the first one is like The Universe Has Your Back.
Yes.
So a lot of these books all kind of have the same like thread, right?
Yeah.
It's there's another one from like 1940 that actually I think it was written in the 20s, and now I can't remember what it's called, but it's a very basic like theory of like mindset, right? And that like belief system. And I love reading about like women in business because obviously like that's what I do and it's fascinating to me. But like when you are in business, like you really have to have a solid belief system because it pushes you to like the brink. Like you
would never survive.
No, you wouldn't. And it's that constant like having to remind yourself like what you're capable of.
Inner knowing.
Oh my gosh. Like, I mean, I don't know if you experience, like you're probably better at it just because you know how to like continue to tell yourself, those positive things. But like I read her book and I'm like, you're going out there. And then she has all these like different things that you can subscribe to and like daily affirmations, and I'm like, like I'll remember. You don't, like you forget.
You really do.
Like you really need to constantly be like referencing it, like write a note down. Like I have like notes on my phone, and I'm like, okay, Kate, like get out of your head because like this is ridiculous, Because
your subconscious mind is what's dictating you when you say you forget, you're just slipping back into your subconscious and the way that you've conditioned your mind to kind of thing.
Yep.
And that's why I'm so passionate about doing it in early childhood. It's like we're waiting till we're in our 30s to rewire.
Right.
Why don't we just wire it the correct way?
Yeah.
Why don't we just wire it the healthy, positive way rather than waiting and then rewiring? Because I've had to rewire and I know how hard it is. I know how disciplined you have to be about being on top of your own mind and catching yourself and changing the words. Like it's not easy.
No, to like just every day just get up and be like, it just depends. There's all these external factors, right, that are happening. It's like, all the things that's happening in the world, and then just like within your community environment, then your family environment, like all these different things that are like, pushing and pulling. You could be in a good headspace, but then like you turn on the news, like neither of us do,
yeah,
and
for a reason,
yeah, for a reason, right? To just be like, oh, but holy cow, like there's so much impact that can really
and we're
negatively.
aware,
yeah,
but so many people aren't aware,
right?
They're like so in this mode of just kind of going through the motions,
or that, yeah.
that they don't even realize how influenced they are negatively by other people or by situations. And I think that's step one, is really becoming aware. Mm-hmm. I lived most of my life not aware of it until I had that postpartum experience.
Right.
And then it actively trying to do the affirmations, I realized like the first month of trying to do the affirmations, I didn't believe any of that stuff about myself.
Okay.
I didn't believe that I was brave. I didn't believe that I could do hard things. I was playing small for a very large part of my life, and saying the opposite of that made me realize like, wow, like I've been speaking so negatively to myself, and I've been so mean to myself, and playing so small, and it's all in my head. Like it's all me.
I know, your own worst enemy oftentimes.
So
it's very true.
I think the first step is awareness, and I think awareness is amazing, because then you can kind of course correct. Mm-hmm. Like even to this day, like I'm so far from perfect. Like it could be one email I get from someone that I had like high hopes about,
like,
whatever
this is a
it could be.
horrible idea.
And they won't even shoot me down. They'll just say something and I'll read too much into it. And it's like...
I do that too.
It's all like my past trauma, like dictate... Like, why am I making something up that's not even there?
Yeah. I know.
It's crazy.
I do that too with an email, or I'll like skim an email and I'm like, they don't want to work with me. But they are saying like they want to work with me, and like also like reflect a bit. Let's take it 5 steps back, where I posted that right pre-summit when I was very stressed about hosting the summit that we just did a couple weeks ago, and I was like looking for a Canva file
I saw that.
Yeah, and it just like I saw this like old thing that it was the first real, like wasn't even really an event, but it was like a little gathering at Ann Taylor that it didn't even end up happening because of the weather. But I remember being really stressed out about it, and I think like we had like another one a couple months later to reschedule, but it was at Athleta at the Grove, and like I think maybe 15 moms came, and I was kind of happy with it.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty great turnout. But now you're doing summits with how many women showing up?
Yeah, like hundreds. And also, and not only that, but just like the festivals, like we have thousands of people come, and it's just like, it's a lot, but it's like, I've kind of, I figured it out. It's very, whatever. But the point is that like, like had that happened that year, it wouldn't have, because I wouldn't have been prepared for it. Like, to even know how to like make, curate all of it. But at the same time, like think about like how far you've come,
Yeah, and how much resilience you've had to have to even get to where you are today.
Yeah.
Because so many people would have just given up.
Oh my gosh.
That first event would have made them give up.
Oh yeah. I remember like I almost had, and I do this a lot, and I need like, I don't know if I need a coach or something, because I get very stressed about my events. And it's like I really, really like deeply get like very like I can't sleep. I'm like, what if this goes wrong, whatever, and and then I keep pushing, like raising the bar, and then but like the stress level, it's I don't know, I gotta figure it out. But we need to get you into meditation. Totally. Where like I had this like first, it was called the Mommy and Me Fair, I think it was called. And anyway, that we had like 500 moms come, and I remember being like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And now like in hindsight, I'm like, that was such a small event, so it's all perspective. But so tell me like how, this is also really so fascinating to me. Like you had this vision board, right? Like you had like the pieces that you ordered, but like, how do you know how to manufacture anything? How do you know now how to manufacture, like how to source all of it? Like, how did you figure that out, and how is that going?
Yeah. So, I didn't know anything.
Okay.
Obviously, I was a teacher. Mm-hmm. Like I was so unaware of pretty much everything, but I will say I was always like really intrigued by entrepreneurs. Like I always was obsessed with listening to Guy Raz, how I built this. Like I've been like consuming my brain with those types of people and information for a long time just because I was interested in it. So I did realize how hard it was going to be. And I think that was probably a good thing because I wasn't like...
Have like high hopes of like just like delusional expectations almost.
Like I know that it was going to be really hard. It's still going to be really hard. And I just have to get through it because I believe in it.
Okay.
But it really just started with me reaching out to people on LinkedIn that I didn't know.
Okay.
And just cold messaging them and being like, I saw you on Shark Tank. I know you've manufactured this product. I love your brand. Would you mind taking a 20-minute call with me? Because I'm starting something and I don't know where to begin.
And did they do it?
99% of them didn't even answer me.
Okay.
But a few people did, and then that just snowballs. So I remember I took my first call with Beth from Busy Baby Mat, who was on Shark Tank.
Okay.
And because at the time I thought the Mindset Tapestry would be made in silicone. I don't know. I feel like so many baby kids products are in silicone. And I thought that would be really cool, like tactile for the children. And I was envisioning this like silicone mat. So I reached out to her because all of her products are made in silicone. Great learning experience because she took the call and she was like, silicone's not for you. The molds are so expensive.
Molds are so expensive. And then if they break, you're like, you have to buy a new one.
Yeah.
Right?
What did I know though?
Yeah.
And so she was like, make a soft goods product. Like, don't even go down this route. She was like, but my friend, I know of a woman who's kind of in your mindfulness for kids space. Still, she doesn't have a soft goods product, but talk to her. So then she had me talk to her. And then from her, it led to other contacts. And then she knew some people in the baby kid space that were in soft good products. And then I found my designer, and he was like, he helped me make like the product the way it is today and like the beautiful design and like, he's like, I think it'd be great in canvas, and I think we should put the pockets here. And he helped me like take my prototype and like make it into a real thing. Because when you go to manufacture something, you need a tech pack for a soft goods product
to be able to, for the
give to the manufacturer and be like, yeah, I don't know, they need that to
it is.
Manufacture
It's like a CAD
Yes.
thing. That's what I
right.
actually,
So I couldn't do that.
I used to sell that software.
Oh, okay.
It was like the bane of my existence, but I did it for 2 years, and I had like a crash course into like manufacturing. I had like no idea that like one factory made like one thing, and you would have to like then source. I just thought it was like the craft factory, like you make everything there. Like I had no idea that it's all these moving parts.
It's so hard to understand.
It is. It's
and like
very hard to understand.
Conceptualize in your brain.
But they need like it's like a CAD like drawing.
Exact measurements, colors, like Pantones, everything.
Yeah.
So he helped me with that, and then I was like, well, I still don't know how I'm going to manufacture this. Like, I don't know manufacturers. I started looking on Alibaba. That was like a scary, like I just couldn't trust. Like, I was going to invest so much money. So
oh my gosh, that was okay.
I just didn't feel like I was getting
so
any
what's
lead.
Alibaba?
Oh, it's anyone can go on there, and you could just order like wholesale in large quantities from Asia.
Oh.
And then you can meet manufacturers on there, and like you.
Oh, so like a genie, is that the whole thing, like your wish, and then you order it? Is that like the whole thing behind it?
Kind of. They have like a lot of like if you owned a store, you could buy things on Alibaba at wholesale cost and then resell them. But I was trying to make something custom too, so like I was basically reaching out to like advent calendar suppliers and being like, can you make a custom because it's also the language barrier, so I'm calling it a calendar to them because I'm also trying to protect my IP, and that like it just was this whole thing because I was only patent pending at that time too, so I was very nervous about that. But thankfully, I wound up getting leads from like all referrals of like so my designer wound up being like, okay, I do know this manufacturer, I know brands who have worked with them, and as far as I know, they're reliable. And that's who I wound up working with. So I ordered like 3 different samples, which are extremely expensive because they just have to make one. They have to turn on all the machines just to make one. And of course, it wasn't perfect the first time. So it took us like 3 rounds to get it perfect. And then I just went for it. And I quit my job.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you knew did you meet a patent attorney in the interim from all the connection you were making through like just this whole process? Did they say like, okay, you need to patent this? And also like you have to do that while you're doing like,
and you're still not protected overseas.
Yeah.
Like what would I do? Like, quite honestly, like hire a Chinese lawyer.
Yeah.
If like,
there's been a few moms who have been on the podcast who are like business owners and have like patents, but also like they're like, oh, we got to do a better job enforcing that because I see stuff on Amazon or whatever.
Amazon's tough.
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. Okay. So what year was this?
2023.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's probably around the time that I met you, right? Maybe?
Probably, yeah. 2023, right around Christmas, I was taking pre-orders.
Okay.
And I was planning to launch around Christmas because I wanted to make that marker. But I really didn't have product. Like, I wasn't sending things out until, like, if I knew people wanted it on Christmas, I sent it to them. But the rest, I kind of waited till January if it wasn't a Christmas holiday gift because it was just overwhelming.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was your like go-to market like plan? Like how did you envision like marketing? Like how did you envision getting it out to the public? Was it like B2C? Was it just selling to schools? Like how did that work?
I started this company with like a huge vision and have no idea how I was going to like execute on it. I was just like a little naive about that. And it's funny because now I just graduated an accelerator out of New York City called Dream Ventures, which is all women led and a whole women cohort. And I'm in this, like, I'm post revenue now. Obviously, I launched my company a little over a year ago. But a lot of these women are pre-revenue and like building and like probably going to fund their, get outside capital to fund their companies. And they're all like, they come from these incredible corporate backgrounds or they're like 2-time founders, and like the plans and the work that goes into like marketing what they're going to do and launch what they're going to do and the wait lists they're building, like I did none of that. Like I had no idea. Like I was just like, this is my idea. It's in my heart. I'm going to put it out in the world. I didn't even have a community to launch to. Like I was simultaneously trying to build an Instagram. Like, I had nothing.
But don't you think that, like, I hear about that a lot. And I also hear, like, when I was in college, it was like, you know, you're taking, like, even business 101, like, you need a business plan, you need this. And it was like, I just remember thinking it was a lot of, like you're saying, like, a lot of, like, lead up to, like, then, you know, and, like, don't you think sometimes that, like, you don't necessarily need any of that?
I think I've gotten by pretty well.
Yeah, right.
And I think it's been great, especially, you know, with the resources I had. And, you know, I'm not going to, like, sit here and, I mean, I probably would do it differently if I were to do it again.
Right.
Because I just think the anticipation, like, I'm trying to build a brand. And, like, that's really important just for awareness.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't do it that way. I just didn't know. Like, I was a teacher.
Right.
Like, I just did not know.
Yeah.
And I don't regret any of it. Like, I'm learning now. And that's, like, another thing that's just very full circle with what I'm, offering in my company is, like, for kids is, like, what am I going to sit here and dwell on the past and say, like, oh, I should have done this differently, beat myself up about it.
Right.
Like, that's such a waste of my time and energy.
Totally.
Like, I might as well just look forward, keep learning, keep growing, do the best that I can. And, like, this is a mission-driven company. It's, like, lives, like, I can't explain it, like, lives in my heart. I'm sure you know what that's like.
Yep.
It's my third child. Like, I'm just going to keep building it.
Totally. Okay.
Like, I'm not going to look, like, I got a pre-order list. And my friends and family signed up.
Right.
And then I sent them their tapestries.
Yeah.
Like, that was literally... And I did have an event at the Well. Shout out to the Well in Belmar. Jamie Kappa, she's amazing. We went to high school together. And I did invite my friends and family just to, like, so they could see what I was even building. Because a lot of my friends and family, too, like, they didn't even know what it was. Even after they saw it, some people were like, I don't get it. Because it's not their world. Like, I'm a teacher, I'm a mom, And I am kind of bringing this woo-woo. I mean, it's real science, but people don't know that yet.
Yeah. But you're at like, I think it's the infancy of this like kind of revolution of,
Yes.
of shifting our mindsets to all the things we just discussed about like the
Right.
importance of building that foundation, which is good for you.
And I created a tool that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's the first ever daily affirmation chart for kids.
So do you envision it being in all kinds of different, early learning centers and
Yeah.
schools?
So we are in some schools. I've really had to learn how to focus this year because I'm one person, and as you know, there's only so many things you could, like if you don't, I'm finding if I'm like scatterbrained about it and I want to do this, and this, then they all kind of fail. So I have to really focus on what's working, nail that, then move to the next thing. So I've been really focusing on my D2C channel. TikTok's been amazing. I've been able to reach like moms all over the US that I feel like I normally wouldn't be able to reach, and it's just a great app for the kind of content I need, because you do need to educate parents on what this tool is, because they've never, like most people, if they haven't seen it before, they don't know who I am. They're like, wait, what is it? It's so cute, but what is it? So they need to see people using it, and TikTok is such a great place for like raw, unedited footage that people are like learning about it, and it's really been awesome for that. I am in Masonette, which is an e-commerce platform. But I'm really not focusing too much on retail. I'm in some awesome boutiques in Monmouth County, like Little Waves and The Hive. But it just hasn't been a main focus. I mean, big vision. I have such a massive vision for this company. Like, I really want to change the world and change mental health for our kids. I just have a vision for a whole product line that's all rooted in holistic wellness, ancient practices, bringing to light things that have been kind of forgotten about that I think could be really transformative for kids. So I'm just excited. We'll see how I get it there.
I'm thinking in my head now, I'm like, and this and this and this, and like there's so many things that like you could do with it, which is like, it's just so cool because there's so much opportunity and you're really helping people. That's like the best part, really. It's I guess like, if no judgment, but there's products out there and it's like, people that are marketing like vapes to kids or whatever, and it's just like, but like the fact that like you can, you are in a good mental headspace now, that you are doing well, that you came out of postpartum depression, and you're now you have this thriving business and you're going to actually like really help families and kids, and really like transform their lives, and like perhaps like then make them into their own little confident people, and I just think that's so cool. So
that's the goal. Thank you so much.
So tell me what your plans are this year. I can't believe that it's like almost May, and we're almost halfway through this year, because I feel like I've been like talking about like, so what do you have planned for 2025? And I'm like, it's halfway over.
I said to my husband's in sales, and as a teacher, I never realized this, but as a business owner, the year flies.
It does.
Like, because you just have all these plans for like, you're like, Q1, I'm going to do this. Q2, I'm going to do that. It's like, wait, how is it?
And sales too, though, you're just in that like Q1, Q2,
right,
like constantly, like you're just,
I'm like, where did it go?
Living and dying by the number. Oh, I had a good April. Okay, May.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're always but yeah, I agree. It does. It just flies. Yeah. There's never enough time, but
exactly.
Yeah. So I know that's one of my things I need to work on, is like just being more productive at outsourcing things, and
it's tough.
Not having to always like feel like you need to do it because you know best, because it's not, it's not how you grow.
Sustainable.
It's not how you grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but so tell me what you have planned for this year, and then also where moms can find it.
Yeah. So this year we have a few things coming up. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month, which is a really big month, obviously, for the Mindset Tapestry, but for me personally, it just feels like the past. So we have Mother's Day, which is huge. Like, I, as a mom, just take that so, like, to heart. Like, it's just an emotional month.
Yeah.
But it's also the month that I had my son, my second son, that, like, really brought out all the postpartum.
Okay.
So it's just like a really monumental month for me, and I like to make it a big deal within the Mindset Tapestry because it just feels like it was the starting point of it all, May 2023. But Mental Health Awareness Month, we have a few things happening. So we have this awesome collaboration with another mom-owned Monmouth County brand, which I'm really excited about. We're still kind of teasing it out, so we haven't exactly launched what it is, but we are making limited quantities, and I will say they're amazing. Like, I cannot wait for everyone to see what it is. We just had our photo shoot 2 weeks ago, and, like, I was melting over the kids with these products.
I love that.
Yeah. And then also the Mindset Tapestry is launching our first partnership with a nonprofit organization out of Chicago, which we will be announcing in May.
Okay.
They are an incredible organization that really focus on the first 5 years of a child's life. They believe that that is the most formative years of a kid's life, and they help to empower and educate parents who really don't have the resources to kind of help them parents. So our product will be within their at-home programs. So they will be in homes in Chicago, and then they will be within their schools that they also have, which is really exciting to me as a teacher because I'm like, that's how I've always envisioned it. Like, I've always envisioned making impact at home, at school, kind of like everywhere. Like, I feel like the Mindset Tapestry can live anywhere. And make a positive impact. So that's really exciting. Other than that, I am looking forward to doing more community-driven events this year. It's something I didn't focus on too much last year because I think I was just overwhelmed by all of it.
Yeah. You also have to, like, go, like what we talked about from the beginning was just like what feels like right now, you know? And, like, you probably didn't have the bandwidth, and maybe perhaps, like, you weren't at a place where if you were in community-driven events, it would have translated because, you know, you weren't, like, you know, that part of the mission wasn't, like, complete yet.
Yeah, the bandwidth is definitely something, too. Like, how can I duplicate myself?
Oh, I know.
Over and over and over again.
I know. No, it's hard. And then, like, making the right, you know, where you're spending your time is, like, so important right now, especially in the early stages. So
exactly.
Yeah. So what would that look like?
I just want to really partner and collaborate with other mom-owned companies, organizations. I'm meeting with a lot of people right now because I just think there's so much power in what we're all doing. And even when we're doing such different things, I talk to these women and we're so aligned, and it's like if we just joined forces, like, we can change the world. Yeah. So, and we're so lucky to live where we live. I feel like there's such a hub for that.
It's like an incubator, essentially, of, like, a hub of women that are really doing cool things. Yeah, for sure.
And it's so inspiring. And my personality, as much as I love people, I can very much get, like, head down behind my computer, work, and, like, be isolated a little bit. So I think I need to make a more conscious effort to, like, introduce myself to people, create the meetings, let's go, let's do stuff, let's make impact together. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I know. I struggle with that too. But I think more so it's like you're like, not fear-based, but I'm like, if I'm not behind my computer doing these things, then my business is going to fall apart, and I'm not going to, like, and I can't get my calendar, like, filled up because then, like, other things suffer or whatever. So it's tough because that's where the outsourcing comes in, where, like, you have to have this, like, foundation of, like, people that you trust that are like working towards the same mission and goal to like
Right.
help you achieve these different things, because you're the face of the business and you should be like going to these things and collaborating and networking.
It's so important.
And it is. And like some days I'll go to something and it's like I get more out of that day than I did in 7 days of like sending emails. So
It's like, I totally relate to that. I'm like, this meeting is going to be 2 hours. I'm going to be having coffee with this person for 2 hours. I can't sacrifice 2 hours. Like,
yeah, there's only so much time in the day.
I only
And
have
then,
childcare so many days a
Right.
week. Like, this is like critical time. But I'd always walk away thinking, wow, that was like such a productive meeting, and
Yeah.
like was so great and meaningful to what I'm trying to build. It's just I'm exactly like you in that sense, that I feel like I just have to be hammering away. But I am trying to reframe a little bit, because so touching back on like the meditation and stuff, I'm trying to let go of these ideas that I have told myself.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't actually have to work like a dog. I mean, we're all going to do that to some extent.
Yeah,
but
right.
sometimes the universe just gives you
I was literally
things.
just going to say that. Like, that's what Gabby Bernstein always says
Yes.
there. Universe has your back. And that also when you give up control, like that's when
You're
like
letting it come.
and the creativity and stuff is like, when you're having fun doing, I struggle with this too, but it's like when you're having fun doing things, the things that are working, lean into that,
Yes.
versus like just fighting this like an upstream, like just okay,
Pushing
like
the boulder up
things
the hill.
and pushing and just like let it go. Like things come in. Like last week I got this call, I'm not even going to say for the new partner, but it's a big one. And they were like not even in my like I'd never even thought about even working with them.
Right, that's amazing.
And then it was like, oh, and it's a big partnership, which means then like that
Incredible.
I can kind of like shift and not have to like worry about like all these other little partnerships that I would have to go to like kind of keep things like thriving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like those are those like little like, it's okay. Like,
It's a sign from the universe
Totally.
being like, just let go a little bit, and I find that I'm trying to remind myself of the same thing, and it is very full circle, because big picture, I really want to teach kids how to manifest.
okay.
Because another thing that I don't think we should be starting in our 30s, like it's all
I know it's
mindset.
this like new concept, and you're like, I say this a lot too. We're like kind of going off to different tangents now, but I say this a lot too with my own kids, like with conversations I have with so many of my mom friends now are business owners, right?
Yeah.
This is just what we do. But like every time I thought I was in dire straits in my life, where like I most of my 20s I was a young single mom, right, and like not doing what I'm doing now. I worked in sales. I always worked my butt off, but I was very like fear-based.
Scarcity mindset.
Scarcity mindset, never having enough money. It was just always kind of like, but every time I needed a certain amount, like I remember like my car broke down and I was like, shit, how am I gonna like, I think I needed, it was like maybe $500, but at the time $500 is a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
And I remember like the next day I got a check in the mail for the exact same amount of money
I just got the chills.
that I needed for that thing. And that's not made up. That was like an actual thing, like to the dime.
It's the universe.
And and it was just kind of like, Kate, like relax. Everything always worked out. I always tell my kids, everything always works out when you do the right thing and when you work hard. Like you can't just like sit around.
And when you believe that it will.
And you believe that it will. Like you can't just sit around. Like I'm like, the universe doesn't have your back when you're sitting on the couch and you're like,
No.
the universe will take care of me. No,
Yeah.
like you have to be working towards something. But like it's that happened. I remember like I went on the only time I've ever been on like a spring break vacation, because I had my son when I was 19. So I was working at this restaurant, and I used to bartend on the weekends while I was like working full time during the week to basically pay my bills. And the two girls that I worked there with, we had so much fun together, and they invited me on this trip to Fort Lauderdale. And it was like I was like, I just want to go. Like I've never gone, So I guess my son was with my mom that week or whatever. And I remember like I didn't have enough money for it. And I was like, I don't think this is a good idea. And then like that weekend, I ended up making like 3 times the amount that I normally do, and like had the exact amount of money. So like,
Crazy.
yeah, just like things like that where like it always kind of somehow worked out. And it's still kind of, I get like in this like, oh, and then it just, things work out the way that they're supposed to,
Totally.
There was actually a woman at that event that you and I were there, and she was talking a lot about that. She said she does coaching for women in business, and it's just always
We've connected. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. And she's like, Kate, I was talking to her about the summit. She's like, the chips will fall where they fall. Like, just chill. And I'm like, I'm not gonna, but thank you for that.
Yeah, but they always do, and it's just, I think these are the things that we should be teaching kids in school.
Yes.
I think we should be raising our kids this way. I think their outlooks on life will be just so much more positive, so much more inspired action will happen.
Yeah.
Like, who wants their kids operating from fear or like lack of? I don't.
Nope. No, it's so true. So this is so cool that
Yeah,
you're doing this. I
thank
love
you.
it. I can't wait to like continue to watch you grow and see
you.
all the things that you accomplish in the coming years. And I wish you so much
Thank
success.
you.
Where you have a website?
Yes, so everyone can find my website, themindsettapestry.co.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram at the Mindset Tapestry, and I am on TikTok at the Mindset Mama.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. We'll also throw all of that in the text here, so you can
Awesome.
you can follow Deanna. And thank you so much.
I'm
for
so
joining.
grateful for you having me here. It was
Oh,
great.
Thank you for coming. We'll see you soon.